Jeff Keck, the Sandia electronic explosive engineer, spends his free time making this Olds 442 take off. His Fast 70, Father's Oldsmobile, is a reigning bracket racing champ at the New Mexico Motor Sports Park.
This is not a cheap hobby.
He's invested over $15,000 into this buggy over 3 years. You see the 12 in the windshield? That's what bracket racing is all about. 12 seconds is the fastest he's ever covered a quarter-mile stretch. Each time out, he's got to hit 12 seconds or thereabouts. If he goes faster, he gets penalized. Consistency is the name of the game. Jeff's nickname here at the track is High Tech Keck. Yeah, he's got some fancy gadgets in this ride.
I have been one of the first one to use a lot of the electronic gadgets that various people have come up with for bracket cars, for drag racing. And I think a lot of those have really helped my consistency and my performance out here.
Another kick to this Keck story. He won the Division IV bracket at Nationals in September, outracing Texans, Oklahomans, guys from Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. And he's used to racing at altitude. Championships were in Dallas.
And I don't have much experience racing anyplace other than here, so it's difficult to predict what the car was going to do. So I feel particularly fortunate that we did as well as we did down there. There are certain monetary rewards for that too that are kind of nice. And one of them is a gold card, which enables me to race at any NHRA track next year free.
And it'll only cost you the price of admission to see Keck and his baby this weekend at the Dragway. Year in and year out, the Charlie Pride Golf Tourney goes on without a hitch. That's no accident. While the professionals tour the links, the locals man their stations. Close to 500 staff workers make up the Pride Brigade this year. Lou, what's your job description?
My job description is to keep the crowd quiet while the pros and the amateurs tee off.
You ever have to throw anybody out?
No, we wouldn't do that. We just ask them nicely to be quiet.
Here's the first faces the guys see coming off 18.
Jane, your job here is to check the scores and verify them. Do you ever have any hairy moments?
Yes, we do. Sometimes, a couple of years ago, one of the pros left without a signature on his card.
That's trouble.
And that's trouble.
I wanted you to meet this couple. They're not from around here. Heck, they probably don't remember where they hail from.
We're home 5 weeks out of the last 6 months of each year. And all the rest of the time we're on the road.
That's a lot of traveling, Lynn. You could be retired sitting on the back porch sipping on a nice tea, but you're here.
But I'm here, and I'm enjoying it.
Are you sure?
Well, I'm sure.
You can have the top players in the game and the support staff second to none, but without the fans, it all goes for naught.
I want to ask you, you're out here having a good time, but aren't you supposed to be at work?
Not today. I work tomorrow.
Where's your note for the boss?
He's here.
I've got a signed note from my boss,
Telling him you are
out at the Charlie Pride.
The Pride goes on without a hitch. Like always, it's no accident.
Boom! You're going after it, and the ball is yours until you get out here.
You know the one thing you can't teach, Lobo starting catcher Sandy Hinojos has plenty of, heart. Case in point, before practice we found her in the training room, and she's not figuring on a bodybuilding career either. If they give away red badges of courage at the end of the season, Sandy will surely get one. She has opted to play with a separated shoulder, says she'll wait for surgery to the end of the year. She wants to play this season. It's not her throwing shoulder, but it'll still go out from time to time, considering all the punishment backstops take.
How painful is it?
Pretty painful, but it's not too bad, I guess.
What's it feel like? Can you liken it to anything?
I don't know, it just kind of gets stuck. It's a weird feeling. I don't know how to explain it.
Why make yourself go through that pain? I guess UM softball means that much to you.
Yeah, it does. It's been a big part of my life for the past 4 years, and I just feel we have a good team this year, and there are a lot of things that we want to accomplish.
The Garfield native has 2 other talented backups ready to step in when the shoulder checks out, like it did when we were shooting this story. So far, the staff has been behind her.
This is just important to her. She wants to play, and if it comes down to the fact that she simply can't do the job, she needs to get the operation. But right now, we're just going to test it and see what we can do.
Sandy Hinojos, she's got plenty of what they can't teach. Heart.
Remember, we're going to execute with our throw.
It was like any other Lobo Aggie skirmish over the years. Lots of intense in-your-face basketball. From where I sat on press row, the Aggies maybe did a little more jawing, and I'm sure their post-game chant rattled many a Lobo diehard. From the folks we've talked to who were here Saturday night, it sounds like the Aggies took their Lobo taunting a step too far. Number 32, Eric Traylor, fouled out late in the game, but not before, some say, showing total disrespect to those sitting in Section 14.
We had one player who came up and dropped his shorts in front of us right here.
What'd you see?
Oh, you didn't see anything. But he pulled his shorts down in front of you, and it was just uncouth.
There were some reports that you saw that he exposed himself.
No, he didn't expose himself. Well, you could see his underwear, his jock strap, but I didn't expose himself physically, no.
We did talk to numerous other folks who witnessed the same thing Saturday. Here's Neil McCarthy's response to what we are reporting. After fouling out with 2:45 to play, Eric Traylor walked out of the arena because he needed to use the bathroom. The referee asked where he was going. I told him to use the restroom. The ref told me don't let him come back with the game in progress or it will be a technical foul. The rest of this allegation is too ludicrous to comment on.
He didn't live here. You just have to print
A foreign TV crew was finishing up signing the required waivers when we showed. Japan's Channel 8 had sent a reporter for a feature on a magazine show. I wondered if she was nervous.
He's very nervous.
Forget the language barrier. There's a universal feeling that all humans feel right about here. It's called fear. But I wasn't worried when she simulated her first ever bungee jump from the back of a pickup. And Recoil Inc.'s head honcho told me again what I've already heard from those who have done this before.
It's a real thrill. When they get off that bungee cord, they hug everyone. They just go crazy. That adrenaline's a crazy drug.
Sherry did get a lesson on how the pros do it. Sure looks fun from the ground. Then it was her turn. After some last-minute safety tips in English, she was ready. Or was she?
3, 2, 1,
Go!
3, 2, 1, go! After 20 minutes of hemming and hawing and a strained neck for our photographer Shane Whitehead, Sherry took the plunge. But unimpressed with the experience. Would you ever do it again?
Yeah.
Does it happen like this often?
No, never. In fact, I would never let that happen in my operation, simply because if people are afraid, we bring it down. But they came here especially from Japan. They wanted to shoot the video, and it is safe.
Recoil Inc. is using Sun and Sand Volleyball as their home base for weekend jumping right now. I doubt you'll see Sherry there anytime soon. In yesterday's Tribune, columnist Richard Stevens wasn't shy, didn't hold back when he wrote, when the Lobos went belly up during the big choke at Utah, it was questionable which Lobo showed the most tummy. Well, I ask you this, was it a big choke or the big chill when New Mexico lost an 11-point lead with 12 minutes to go? They went through a 6-minute scoring drought, 37% shooting for the game, and were caught by a pumped-up-by-the-home crowd team that mustered a 16-5 run.
Utah's a good basketball team, and we just didn't produce the type of basketball down the stretch that would ensure victory. Sometimes you have to give the other person a little bit of credit.
To me, choking isn't losing. I don't think if you lose, that means you choke. I think, to me, choking is when you have the opportunity to win, and instead of aggressively going for it or grasping for it, you back away.
Doesn't sound so bad when it's put that way, but traditionally the choke word insinuates a lack of intestinal fortitude. No guts for the glory when the going gets tough.
Sportscasters and writers have been laying the choke label on athletes for as long as I can remember. Some will tell you it doesn't bother them, others, sure.
It's frustrating because you know that you're giving your best effort when you're on the court.
Of course it bothers you, but you can't let it get to you because you know you can't let anything outside of what you're doing here affect what happens to the team.
We're all entitled to an opinion. Richard Stevens has had plenty over the 15 years he's covered Lobo basketball. Says he's paid the price at times, too.
I remember last year Coach Ash from the Lobos refused to sit next to me in an airplane. He said, "I'm not sitting next to you." It was his assigned seat, and he sat somewhere else. Larry Scheid, a former Colson assistant, wouldn't talk to me for weeks at a time sometimes.
KOB TV4's Player of the Week, sponsored by Tombstone Pizza.
I would be the first to admit that over my 10-year career, I have verbalized a weird comment or two, or three, or four. But I take pride in the fact that I've never used the choke word. Yuck. Here's more. In yesterday's Tribune, columnist Richard Stevens wasn't shy, didn't hold back when he wrote, "When the Lobos went belly up during the big choke at Utah, it was questionable which Lobo showed the most tummy." Well, I ask you this, was it a big choke or the big chill when New Mexico lost an 11-point lead with 12 minutes to go? They went through a 6-minute scoring drought, 37% shooting for the game, and were caught by a pumped-up-by-the-home crowd team that mustered a 16-5 run.
Utah's a good basketball team, and we just didn't produce the type of basketball down the stretch that would ensure victory. Sometimes you have to give the other person a little bit of credit.
To me, choking isn't losing. I don't think if you lose, that means you choke. I think, to me, choking is when you have the opportunity to win, and instead of aggressively going for it or grasping for it, you back away.
Doesn't sound so bad when it's put that way, but traditionally the choke word insinuates a lack of intestinal fortitude. No guts for the glory when the going gets tough. Sportscasters and writers have been laying the choke label on athletes for as long as I can remember. Some will tell you it doesn't bother them, others, sure.
It's frustrating because you know that you're giving your best effort when you're on the court.
Of course it bothers you, but you can't let it get to you because you know you can't let anything outside of what you're doing here affect what happens to the team.
We're all entitled to an opinion. Richard Stevens has had plenty over the 15 years he's covered Lobo basketball. Says he's paid the price at times, too.
I remember last year Coach Ash from the Lobos refused to sit next to me in an airplane. He said, "I'm not sitting next to you." It was his assigned seat, and he sat somewhere else. Larry Scheid, a former Colson assistant, wouldn't talk to me for weeks at a time sometimes.
Now, I agree with Mr. Stevens that the Lobos got a bit tentative Saturday down the stretch, but I've never liked it when anybody accuses a ball player of choking. How can you know for sure what's inside another man or woman's heart? Here is the woman whose daughter is accusing Mike Tyson of rape. She says she wants her daughter. Paul, what are you doing out there? Clowning around, that's for sure. I'm covering some serious stuff. The Dukes and Las Vegas Stars tonight, Game 4 in their 5-game set, first pitch 7:05. I should mention that I'm standing in the family section. It is open, has been since the weekend, and they're turning the sprinklers on. We were over here earlier, got a chance to talk with one of the new arrivals, catcher Mike Piazza. He is Tommy Lasorda's godson. That means Lasorda stood up for him, so to speak, in Catholic baptism.
It's just great. I'm happy to be affiliated with Tommy, and I'm proud that he would, not put his reputation on the line and telling the Dodgers to look out for me when I first signed, or when I was ready to sign, I should say, a couple of years ago. And I've worked hard, and hopefully it's just the beginning.
He hit 29 homers last year in Double-A. I was asking about his skills behind the plate.
Some of the guys in the cage were saying, well, we're not worried about his hitting. He's going to have to... Oh, no. Now that was cold. Who was that, Mike? I'm not sure.
Albuquerque.
What the heck, buddy? What kind is it? What kind is it?
I think it's menthol.
That's the way to handle it. You're ready for the big leagues, baby, because he is handling it like a pro. Well, listen, thank you very much, buddy. I'm sorry. Thanks.
I was surprised he took that as well as he did, but I think I'm a trooper because somebody has turned on the sprinkler system and I am getting drenched. They're all excited at UNM. The athletic department today unveiled their first ever Lobo Caravan. Coaches and administrators will trek around the state this summer, rubbing elbows with supporters and fans.
Consistently expose the university with ideas and some thoughts about what's going on with UNM.
As long as I've been here, we've never had a program quite like this that I can remember, and I think it's an exciting way to include the entire university and get us all involved together.
Here's the schedule. They'll be in Clovis, Farmington, Gallup through June, luncheons, radio shows, then Roswell, Hobbs, and Santa Fe in July.
We're also going to be recruiting fans and alums back into our program. It's kind of an ambassadorship for us as we go across the state to create some interest in football, which we're trying to rebuild at this time.
Dave Bliss won't make all those trips, but he'll try to schedule some in his busy summer schedule. Everybody's wondering if the Bulls aren't spent after 7 games with the Knicks. They take on Cleveland tonight in the Eastern Conference Finals. Hey, they're not Supermen, you know.
People's expectations of us were to go undefeated through this whole thing. I mean, people expect us all year to go undefeated, and that's not fair to us. It's not fair to other teams around the league. You don't give them enough credit as fans.
Also tonight it'll be Portland and Utah, game 2 of that Western Conference Final. Shane, I want you to pan out. I want you to show the folks what Pat McKernan and his Dukes have done to us. They have turned the sprinkler system on. I can't believe it. A day of pranks. Tom, back to you.
So you are all wet, aren't you, Paul? Thanks, buddy. Up next on News 4, how to make sure your kid is street smart. It may keep him or her alive.
Is the University of New Mexico looking for a new football coach?
News 4 New Mexico was the first to tell you Mike Shepard was out as the head coach of the University of New Mexico football program.
The 8 wins, 49 losses over 4 years and 10 games, not enough.
The appropriate time for changing the leadership and direction of the program has arrived. Coach Shepard has accepted the decision.
When it's important to you, turn to News 4 New Mexico. First, fast, and accurate.
If you haven't been to New Mexico's premier water park yet, shame on you. A real summertime treat. There's the lazy moat for those stressed out from work, the ocean-like wave pool to keep the older kids satisfied, a not-so-scary place for the kiddies, and of course, plenty of open space to stretch out and work on a tan. Not interested? There's more. That was Lobo basketball player Trent Hefner. He got in line like they do by the hundreds, day in and day out, for the park's gut check time water slide. I was here a week ago with my family, and my oldest son convinced me to try Suicide. I'm still recovering. Gushing water hurls the human body through an enclosed 110-foot-long tube. Travel time, less than 5 seconds. It's some trip. Still have time to turn back. Anybody want to do that?
No! Okay.
Do you go down with your eyes open or closed?
Open.
Come on.
I do. You have no idea where you're going. You have no idea where you're at.
It's scary.
Uh-huh.
Some women have lost their bathing suits in there. Did you know that?
I'm sure I had mine on before I came out of the water.
It was no laughing matter when I tried this ride, but maybe the heavier, fatter you are, the rougher the experience. I kind of like just seeing other folks have the fun.
It's so fun seeing the people come out of the slides, their reactions on their faces.
To a slide at the beach, for those of you who've got the nerve.
He's back now, Trent Demas, and we have gotten permission from NBC to show your high bar routine one more time in New Mexico. Let's roll the tape, and you give us some commentary right now.
All right.
Here it is. There's Eddie.
Right, I'm so nervous right now. I'm just thinking 30 seconds of my life. I just got to get this over with. I'm so stressed out. Can't even think straight. Jumping up, going, okay. Get a good swing. Hoping my grip is good. Going up. Good compression.
Your warm-ups weren't very good.
No, I was really worried about that. This first mount is very important. I'm thinking, okay, I've got to tap a little bit later. It's a body position. I'm going up, open. There's the bar. I'm going, oh my God, I'm halfway down.
You're not saying that.
Yes, I am. I'm going, okay, throw the bar. The next trick, I got a little far out. I'm like, reach, because I thought I was going to miss the bar. I kept going, and I'm thinking, okay, right here, dismount. It's everything.
You got to
have to stick. You have to stick. I'm thinking, okay, spin off the bar. I'm going through. I'm going, okay, pull, 1, 2, 3, and boom. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Now, why do you say that? You've done that 1,000 times at Gold Cup.
Never that good. Never in a competition, never in anything has it been that good.
And what about this? Did you choreograph this before you left Albuquerque?
I was almost a little bit embarrassed when I first saw it because I think I was bear hugging my coach with my arms and legs, but I thought about it, it was just, it was genuine. I couldn't feel any better.
I couldn't tell who was going more crazy. You